Hiya there, guys and dolls. How are you? So, as promised, we're going to talk about Earth changes, upcoming Planet X approaching, what we can expect to feel within our own bodies, all of that exciting stuff. And I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you some visuals on what I've been tracking and keeping up to date on. Okay. We're going to start with some pretty cool stuff. Well, actually, we're going to start with we're going to take a look at the earthquakes first. And then we're going to look at some pretty cool clouds and stuff in the sky. So let's start. Where is it? I think. Let me put my glasses on for just a moment. Here it is. No, that ain't it either. Wait a minute. Wonder why I can't see that on the screen. All right, well, we'll start here anyway with the rainbow clouds. I did a Google search. On rainbow clouds and on the earthquakes as well. So, as you can see right here, it says according to NOAA, NOAA, the phenomena is relatively rare to have rainbow clouds, and it only happens when a cloud is thin and full of water droplets or ice crystals. Okay. Now, I want to remind you that a little while back, I had a very strong dream vision of gravitational changes happening in the area that I was in, planes crashing to the ground, and all these different colored, um, like electric blue and electric pink colors in the clouds in the sky. Okay. Now, also in 2004, when I was shown my very big vision of the two paths that we will face, in both of those, I was shown the fire in the sky rainbow clouds, if you will. One of my daughters as well had a very strong premonition, probably about 6 years prior to that, where she saw what she could only describe as fire in the sky with beautiful colors, as if the aurora borealis had come to every land on planet Earth, every region of the planet was seeing this in the sky. Now, um, Italy is seeing these clouds. Europe is seeing these clouds. The UK, Canada is also seeing these types of clouds, but also as well as the United States, as far away as Arizona. People are seeing these clouds, which is supposed to be a very rare thing. Now, we're going to look at a couple of video clips here in a minute where Mr. MBB333 explains to everyone how I think NASA and NOAA explain all of this away with the polar vortex is causing it and blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about clouds that are forming high in our stratosphere where they don't normally have clouds and causing these ice crystals that are giving us these beautiful rainbow rays. Okay. Now, trust me, I don't think that it's an omen of bad things to come, but I do feel like it is a sign, if you will, of things to come because there are big changes ahead of us, especially in 2024, but probably all the way up until 2029, 2030. maybe even into 2031, because I feel like it'll be a full 7 years personally that we will be experiencing these changes before they level out completely. But in these changes, human evolution is going to take place, in my opinion, and that of others. Einstein, Hapgood, many philosophers and scientists have written about this in the past, several of our greats, and even some people current that are speaking on this, that are well educated or have their PhDs, etc. But I don't want you to just take my opinion for it. Consider this an educational tutorial and allow yourself to think for yourself and look at where things are changing currently and where they're going. Okay. So I want to stop sharing for just a minute and try to pull up. Can I do it this way? I think I can just do it this way for a minute because I don't really need the audio for anything on the other page, but it's not letting me. What is going on? That's so stupid. Okay, there we go. I finally have it. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is just a regular search on YouTube for earthquake activity that has happened on the planet in the last month. Okay, so we've got a deep earthquake that happened in just south of Tokyo, Japan, on the 24th, just a couple of days ago. Now, it doesn't say exactly what the magnitude of that was. Let's just watch for a minute on the screen and see if the closed captioning there on that video is going to show us what the magnitude was. Says it happened around the Halfville region. Just south of Tokyo on the northwestern corner of the Filipino plate, which is one of the plates that I mentioned in my predictions just a couple of months ago as well, that I felt was going to have big movement very soon. Okay, I don't guess they have a magnitude on it yet because they're not really saying. Anyway, we're going to move on. Huntington Beach, California has had a 3.4. That just happened 2 days ago as well. So again, on the 24th. Then China had a 6.2 7 days ago that killed 116 people, regrettably. Oh, and this one says the death toll is at 126, so I guess they're still finding the deceased. That's quite a shame. It says that rescuers are still working in the frigid conditions as they continue to sift through the rubble after China's deadliest earthquake in nearly a decade. There's more on the 6.2. Same earthquake. Lots of talk on the one in China. And then also the volcano in Iceland. That's a big thing. Have you seen anything about that? That also was 6 days ago. Thousands were evacuated as the Iceland volcano erupts following weeks of earthquakes. And I mean, this is one hell of a earthquake, or excuse me, one hell of a volcano that's taking place there. There's more footage of the volcano in Iceland. More about Iceland. God love them all. This says that the eruption happened with the volcano just weeks after intense earthquakes happened there. More on China. More on China. Okay, so I guess that's about it for now, but that's plenty, isn't it? That's hella plenty. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is going to be these rainbow clouds. Let me find my Zoom controls again. Okay, share the screen. And first, we're going to go to Mr. BB333's. That's not the one on the clouds. Hold on. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, let me make this screen bigger for you. And just take a listen here for a minute. This is actual photos, and they're absolutely beautiful and exactly the way that I saw them in my visions. Listen to what he has to say.
Skies. I mean, people have really been drawn to the skies for obvious reasons in Scotland and Ireland and Norway and the United Kingdom. I've gotten photos from Italy, and obviously everywhere in between have been experiencing these clouds. The Netherlands, and they're really super cool. In fact, they're quite beautiful. I read an area today. They were talking about an article today. They're talking about these obviously being the most beautiful clouds on the planet right now, and that's undeniable. They certainly are. Look at that. That's unedited. Are you serious? Look at those clouds. Totally cool. Cambridgeshire, United Kingdom. Kerry Eaton, December 21st of 2023. Just absolutely beautiful. Kev and Jacqueline out of Scotland. Notice the same sky phenomenon on December 21st of 2023. They had a lot more orange. Pappy Dizzle, Lincolnshire, United Kingdom, December 21st of 2023. You can see some light purple, almost a dark pink up there. And then as we zoom in on that big beam in the back, you're going to see that it too is loaded with color. Right here it is, getting in a little bit tighter.
I'll pause that for just a minute and let it load a little better.
A lot of color in the sky on December 21st. Belinda out of Reading, United Kingdom. A couple of clouds here by themselves, actually about three, just loaded once again with spectacular colors. And here at the 45 degree, this is what I was talking about earlier, 45 degree north latitude. Bagnano, Italy, Marie. These photos were taken yesterday on December 23rd. And you can see they stretched in the sky as far as they could see in that direction, and obviously right above their location. Everywhere else in the sky was blue. These clouds were up in the stratosphere, being pushed down to the 45 degree north latitude in northern Italy. Are you serious? Wow. Here's a reflection of the sun. We were talking about reflections in yesterday's video, and the moon. A lot of you guys had good points and stuff like that. And I have a lot of comments that I want to get to in my next video regarding the moon. And in fact, Mandy, the young lady from Southern Arizona that saw that object in the sky, she didn't take pictures of it. She did, but she saw it in the sky for an hour in 2022. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but she was in the comment section yesterday of yesterday's video, and she was.
Okay, now real quick, I just want to show you this as well.
Out of Theodore, Alabama. Just going to share some random stuff with you guys that I've had for a while. He couldn't help but notice what looked like a giant handprint in the sky. And you can put your hand on there, and it looks like your thumb, the inner part of your thumb, your index finger, your middle finger, and ring finger. Look at that. It could be both ways. It could be your right hand or your left hand. That's what compelled him to take the photo of the sky. And not only one, but this is a different one from a different location. What is going on? These hands up in the sky. This photo was sent in by Walter.
And the hands in the sky are not the only thing that's been showing up that people are reporting, particularly to Mr. MBB333. Sorry, I keep messing his name up. It's just hard to say. But people have also been showing him photographs that they're taking of these gigantic clouds that look like angels, like archangels up in the sky. And I don't mean just like one cloud or two clouds that look like angels. I'm talking about a whole freaking army of angels in the sky. You should really check out the rest of his videos from the past couple of weeks because people are sending in amazing things that are showing up right now. And listen, I'm going to say it again. We are in a spiritual WAR. Dark and light, good and bad, bouncing scales, human evolution, cyclical stuff. All of this is happening, culminating for a reason. Okay. You're here on this planet right now for a reason. You're listening to this video right now for a reason because you're meant to. You're meant to make a change. You're meant to make a difference in all of this. Okay. My opinion, my personal opinion, my mission in life, my goal that I have walked forth with for the last 49 years of my life since I was big enough to speak and tell people. Okay? It's here. It's on us. Now, I want to show you some more stuff. Okay, right there.
Exactly like what Mandy saw in November of 2022. It's undeniable. There's something in the sky, something very large, dark, that appears to hang out by the moon at least once a year. It's been spotted in 2022, it's been spotted in 2023. Multiple times. I have two more videos to share with you guys of something mysterious next to the moon, and one of them looks almost identical to what you're going to see in this video, but it was in the daytime sky. Unbelievable footage you're about to see. This video has narration. I'm going to stick around for the entire length of the video, but I want you to hear what the viewer has to say.
Alright, well, right here, what I have is an object at the bottom left of the moon. For the last 2 days, I was recording the same shot, and I was getting the same object, and I was getting frustrated because I thought it was my camera. I thought my camera was just messed up because it kept showing this object in the same spot just about. But tonight, the clouds are showing me that it's real. It's not my camera, it's not broke. This is undeniable.
It's real.
It's unarguable that there's something up there by the moon.
Yep.
So, I'm going to leave this 8 minutes to let you just watch. I mean, it's non-stop and it's an unbelievable video. I can't understand why this isn't the biggest issue right now.
Looks like the same exact object is back. Here we go. There'll be proof here in just a second that this is not a reflection. If it were a reflection, it would be upside down. As you're going to see, it disappears behind the clouds, and the moon is still shining very brightly. If that were a reflection, the reflection would be on the lens glass of the recording device, and the reflection would not disappear. It comes back as it was camouflaged by the clouds. So that tells us that this was a physical object in the sky that Tom recorded on this night. This is a real dark object that was in the sky, and it appears to show up near the moon, at least from what we're seeing now in 2022 and 2023 in November and December. So this thing could be on some sort of a highly elliptical orbit, and it shows up every once in a while near the moon, and then it disappears again for maybe another year, 11, 12 months. I don't know, but I do know.
And why is that? Why is it only showing up once in a while? Well, because it's cyclical. It's on a cycle. It's on its own orbit path. And it's not alone. That's why some people are seeing it near the moon and other people are seeing things near the sun. And I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. Let me pull that up. You see that? That is undeniable. That is incredible to look at. And I'm just going to grab a screenshot of that real quick so that we can keep that. Because this is unbelievable, undeniable, unarguable proof that this absolutely does exist. And not only does it exist, it is not alone. It has its own entourage coming with it. Now, let me just check my screen here. Okay, so yeah, we're going to check out another video from Mr. MBB333, because this is a great question. Why isn't this the biggest news? Why isn't this the biggest news? Actually, this is the other one I wanted to show you of his. And I will provide all of these links.
Evening sky, or no, sun coming up. That would have been,
Sorry, I
yeah,
thought
that
I
would have
had
been
it
the
switched
evening sky.
over.
This one here is obviously during the daytime, and from her point of view in Washington D.C., this thing was now over, still around the lower half of the moon, but at the 5 o'clock position. See something over there? Well, that's not what she was watching. She was watching this up here, and I'm going to zoom in. You're going to be able to see that. That is a massive, and you tell me what we're looking at here. Best I can tell, it looks like a big wing. You'll see. She didn't even see the thing next to the moon. Check this out. This is wild. Washington, D.C., 4 days later. Here we go. She's filming this thing. Look at that. That thing's huge. She's obviously following that, right? Did you see what was next to the moon? She probably didn't notice it because it was so daylight. Okay, here I kind of, let me slow it down. I modified it just a little bit so you guys can see it. This is what she saw. She saw that moving through the sky. Looks like it looks like a big wing. There's no other way to describe it. It's not an airplane because it has no body. And there's no blinking lights. There was something over here on the far right-hand side that had a little bit of a light appearance. But watch, I'm going to zoom in on this thing. This is what she's watching. Watch it fly by the object below the moon. See it? Like it knew it was there. Are you serious? And again, look, let me show you something. Okay, there you go. There's a decent view right there. It's hard to see because it's broad daylight. But again, both of the same sides are illuminated. The right-hand side of if that's a reflection, it wouldn't be illuminated on the right-hand side, as we just saw from Alley Cat's video. It would be illuminated on the left-hand side, not the right. The right is an exact replica of what's in the sky. That's impossible. So that was something in the sky on December 19th at sometime during the daylight. And this, a giant wing, again, you can't make this stuff up, flew through the sky outside the atmosphere. Here's a close-up view of it. And I'm going to zoom in even closer. I'm going to switch up formats. You're going to be able to see, and that's what she was following. That, not the object near the moon. Difficult to tell. I don't think these things were designed to advertise and be seen. They're very difficult to see. She was quick enough to actually get a video of this thing because it was only visible for a few seconds. Okay, here's the object below the other rogue object. There's the dark object that I think was seen by Mandy in 2022. It was seen by Gus in 2023. Seen by Kay Marie. It showed up in a video in 2023, and it was seen by Tom in 2023. I think this thing's on a 13-month orbit, and I think next year, here we go. Here's another format of both of these objects. The moon is out of the field of view in this particular photo, but the moon is glowing on the same side as whatever this is, so they're both reflecting sunlight. That's not a reflection. If it were a reflection, it would flip. It can't work that's what the camera saw in the sky. This down here is some sort of a flying machine that made no sound and had no blinking lights and appeared to be quite large. So this was 4 days after Gus, and the person that was with Gus. Here's a pretty good view right there. I just kind of switched up the color and lighting, and there you go. Looks a lot like what Mandy saw. If I can find her picture right here. Here's what Mandy saw in southern Arizona, right there. And there's that thing in the sky above Washington, D.C.
So again, undeniable proof that we do indeed have other objects out in our sky. Now, let me make sure I didn't miss any of these here that I wanted to show. No, not that. Okay. So we've had a rapid increase in our magnetic field, as well as an increase in solar activity, and it's not even really supposed to be a solar maximum yet, but we've had some really huge solar flares. So real quick, let me just show you this Google search. The sun will reach its peak in 2024 now. Okay, this is earlier than previous estimates. They say here by 1 year. However, if you look at how often does the sun cycles change, you'll see that it's on an 11-year change. And its last flip was in 2019. Where did I find that? That's in this one somewhere. Was it that? Yeah, 2019 was the last solar cycle. So we're not even a full 11 years in yet. We're not due for the solar polar flip that occurs. And if you look at this one, I asked, are we approaching solar maximum or solar minimum? And it says we have a revised prediction now for the peak activity known as our solar maximum to begin between January and October of 2024, according to NOAA's newest statements. It will be earlier, stronger, and last longer than the estimates that they made in 2019. Why is that? Why would we be having stronger than expected solar flares, things being seen in our sky that aren't normal or are very rare, such as these extraplanetary looking bodies, these winged comets that are coming toward us, particularly a very interesting one that is supposed to show up in the daytime sky in April during our full solar eclipse, total solar eclipse. Then we have these rainbow clouds that are happening. We've got all of these upticks of earthquakes and volcanoes. We have people experiencing physical pain and changes, and we're going to cover that as well because that too is part of it. But first, let's take a look at the rapid magnetic field change. I just want to quickly show you a little bit of his video. And I think you can hear his audio. I'm not sure. Let me just make sure that you're going to be able to hear his audio. Go back to this real fast. Is that what that one's called? No, it's the next one. Where is his at? Okay, well, I'll just start with this one so I get the audio, and then I'll flip over to his. Because it's right next to that video. There we go. Now, listen real quick.
And these also go down even deeper into the atmosphere and can start to affect the energetic dynamics there. So we had that big crunch, and then they're starting to recharge, but they've stayed effectively diminished in strength as this extended duration geomagnetic storm has continued. And we'll start to see them recharge once that all ends.
There's really no reason for this to be lagging like it is. It's loaded.
A lot of this solar plasma starts to get reorganized and moving closer.
Let me close a few of these tabs. Maybe that'll help.
Towards the Earth, and then eventually there'll be another ion
on. Ridiculous.
precipitation event that takes all that new solar plasma that's now Earth's plasma and rains it down into our atmosphere again. So we were here before fully charged, and now we're at probably like a low medium charge at this moment in time, and we'll see how this evolves over the next few days. If you'd like to stay appraised, please subscribe to my channel. Now, when these ions from the radiation belts precipitate down into the ionosphere, they change the electric currents of the ionosphere, altering the global electric circuit. Effectively, our planet is a giant battery. It's a giant electric circuit, and this drives things like the Schumann resonances. These are pulsed electromagnetic fields, and they exist everywhere globally. And you see this line there? That's the 7.8 hertz on average. Mode 1 is Schumann resonances. Mode 2 here at 14 hertz is the second strongest mode. You can see them across time. This is from December 15th to the 17th. This is the vertical electric field as measured in Tomsk, Russia, 0 hertz up top, 40 hertz down below. And so you can see during all this geomagnetic activity, especially shown by these pulsations here in that sub 5 hertz range, you can see that the Schumann resonances have been activated, really strengthening, especially right here. You can see how they went up in power, going from more green up into the yellow into the orange. Mode 2 did the same. But then just recently, they kind of dropped and quieted down. And then there's a really anomalous signature right here. Like, if you just look at this data often, this looks very weird. This is not normal. You see some like isolated frequency power bursts in the very low frequency part of the spectrum. These are clearly geomagnetic pulsations, especially very low frequency ones there. That's like 1 hertz or lower. So
and what does that mean? What does that mean to us, and what does it matter for us? I'll tell you what it it means. This is effectively where the sun's solar activity, and which is being amped up by whatever celestial bodies are out there near it, and changing all of the natural earth weather patterns and earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. It's also going through the planet, going through us, and affecting us because we are electrical beings. So it's affecting our bodies, and it's essentially giving us an upgrade in a nutshell. Okay. And I'm going to share some further wise people so that, again, you're not just taking my word for it and you're being educated properly on how this truly affects us. This is a lovely lady named Pam Gregory, who is an astrologist.
Because in myth, Uranus was the sky god. Uranus rules Aquarius, and we are going to see a lot more of this, as not only next year do we have Uranus in Taurus, but we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, which means it's going to intensify anything linked to Aquarian and Uranian energy. And I've talked about this in other videos, but it's going to be very linked to things coming from the out there, from the sky, from the heavens, from the sun. It's going to be a lot more out there activity that is going to affect our Earth. And Gaia herself is going through her own upgrade, as we know. And so, yes, we can expect more seismic activity, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, lots of extreme weather events, because the Earth is ascending very rapidly too. And Uranus is also the planet of unpredictability, the unexpected. So even as astrologers, we can't point down the timeline and say exactly it's going to be then that we're going to experience this massive solar flare or this massive earthquake, because they're going to be quite sudden. Now with spaceweather.com, we can get max, I think, about a couple of days warning of big solar storms, big solar flares coming, but that's about as good as it gets. It's pretty unpredictable by their very nature, because they're linked to Uranus. Now, you may be aware, some of you, that in 1859, there was a major, what was called a solar superstorm, massive solar flares. And so this was 1st of September, 1959, and it's known as the Carrington event, because the astronomer who detected the solar superstorm, his name was Carrington. And this wreaked absolute havoc on what was called their Victorian internet, which was at the time, it was their telegraph system. Telegraph lines were taken over large areas of geography, particularly North America. It took them out for months. So what was their communication system then was just absolutely decimated because of this solar superstorm. Therefore, it is very likely that we, in this period of time going up to 2026 at least, will have power outages. It's also the signifier of cyber attacks, by the way, as well. But power outages, radio blackouts, electrical blackouts, and even internet blackouts. That's entirely possible, particularly if we look back to what was happening at the Carrington event. It's just the nature of, we are so interconnected now. Our world is so interconnected with the internet, and it runs our financial system. Remember, Uranus in Taurus is also linked to disruptions in the financial system as well. That if part of the internet goes down, you can imagine that's going to cause a lot of radical change, let us say, to be kind about this. So, and we'll only get a few hours or a couple of days warning for this. So this is what we are in. And the purpose of it, as I say, is incredibly positive, because it's allowing us or enabling us to ascend at dizzying speed, but it's not very comfortable physically to live through, because we are all human beings with, up till recently, a pretty steady energy body, but that's changing very, very rapidly. And so looking back to the astrology of the Carrington event, 1st of September 1859, I was actually quite surprised, because I sure for many months in 1859. This on the 15th, it's predicted as we go into this weekend, 16th, 17th, and 18th of December 2023, that we are likely to be having a big solar storm, big geomagnetic storm. And in fact, on the 18th, next week of December 2023, we have Mars quincunx Uranus, and that becomes exact on the 21st, just as we're going into the Capricorn solstice. And so hard aspects between Mars and Uranus, because Mars energizes Uranus, particularly when it's a hard aspect, square, as it is here, quincunx, opposition, etc., gives energy in a challenging way to Uranus, which is in Taurus fixed Earth. So we could expect quite a lot of disruption in communications, solar storms, power grids going down in some geographies of the world. So this is what we expect. And I'm not just talking about also this year, as I say, end of 2023. This is really likely to continue until Uranus fully exits Taurus, until 2026, I believe. So in terms of looking down the timeline, even just over the next few months, in January, we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, so etc. All of that's going to increase. And by the way, really, as I've just mentioned, it does impact, because Aquarius is very linked to our nervous systems. So it's going to impact our nervous system, as I say. So for all of us, we're going to feel more jazzed up, plugged into the mains, hard to sleep. And therefore we have to, we have to be kind to ourselves, and we probably have to take a breath and step back before we communicate with others too. I've sort of become increasingly aware of that, because we're all going to be feeling more edgy potentially. Now, there are many amazing things that are going to happen next year in terms of solutions, healing technologies, free energy emerging more clearly. I mean, there are going to be all kinds of exciting new developments, but some of the challenges are what I'm just talking about, focused on the geomagnetics in this video. We are going to see more mental illness as a result of this. That's one of the ingredients, I think, to this, because Uranus destabilizes. Uranus will destabilize the Earth and destabilize our nervous system, because it's a rapid upgrade. It's a rapid upgrade with no rehearsal. So we're going to step into this new energy very quickly. So January, 20th of January, Pluto moves into Aquarius. That is going to intensify everything Aquarian. And so that's just January. February, if I'm looking at what's feeding into this theme, we have Mars conjunct Pluto at 0 of Aquarius. So Mars is going to energize whatever Pluto is doing in Aquarius. In March, we have Mars square to Uranus. Classic, as I've just said, for earthquake activity, increased geomagnetic storms, solar flares, etc. April.
So you see, all of this is cyclical. All of this is meant to happen. All of this is part of our evolutionary leveling up, the planet's evolutionary level up, the solar system's leveling up, so on and so forth. It's all necessary. It's all things that are meant to happen at a certain time, and we are in that time. Now, Mars being in the mix amps things up, causes this whole tug of war between old guard new guard, right? Getting rid of the old ways of doing things, lots of political upheaval or worldwide type of events with their political stages and their laws and regulations and things like that, and people in high places is going to change dramatically, beginning immediately in 2024. January through April is going to be maybe volatile and scary at times for some people, but also very beneficial, very cleansing. Um, Lots of good things for us on our physical body as far as leveling up, just that we're going to be leveling up very quickly. So, for some people, this could cause mental illness because you're going to be like, just like Einstein said, as we pass through the dark rift of the Milky Way, which is where we're at now, we're getting the force merge of our left and our right hemispheres of our brain to create this intense psychic connection. So everybody that already did not know that we're naturally psychic, suddenly are going to know that we're naturally psychic. And that's going to kind of fuck some people up, right? They're going to be seeing things beyond the veil that they didn't see before. They're going to be hearing things or smelling things that they didn't hear or smell before. They're going to be sensing people's energy. They're going to be feeling people's energy stronger and more intensely than they ever have before. It's going to be weird. It's going to weird people out if they don't know what they're experiencing. That's where we come in. People like us, we are to be those beacons. We are to be those way showers for the wayward. Help them through this. Nurture them. Explain it to them. Be patient. Be compassionate with them in all ways possible, right? Because these changes are intense for all of us. And even the best of us are going to feel a little snappy, a little short tempered here and there because of Mars sticking its nose in everywhere. And so we have to be even tempered. We have to stay grounded. We have to continue to meditate, say mantras, do affirmations, control our thoughts, all of those things so that we can help these other people to get through these difficult times because there are blessings on the other side of this. I'm not telling you these things for doom and gloom or for fear. I never, ever want to encourage this type of knowledge to be on anyone in the name of fear because there is nothing to fear but fear itself. That's a true statement. It's one of the truest statements I've ever known in my life. There is nothing to fear except for fear itself. Don't let it in. When you see things transpiring around you in this coming year, stand firm. Plant your feet firmly into the ground as a foundation, a strong foundation of faith, and put those blinders on for that chaos, busyness stuff that's going to be all in the news media or wherever, right? Focus on the goal, focus on the outcome. If it's a hurricane, we're not focusing on, oh my God, how many is this going to harm? We should be focusing on quelling the energy of the hurricane. If it's an earthquake, same thing, diffuse it. See it spread out in multiple different uh, factions or fractures so that it's lessened in its effect and intensity. We can control these things. Our conscious collective focus can change huge things, big things like earthquakes, like volcanoes. There just needs to be enough of us to believe that, okay? And trust me, we've tested this, we've proven it. That's not crapola. I'm not just feeding you crackers here. This is like the main course, and it's the best meal you could have, so to speak, because it truly empowers us to no longer need fear. And what a beautiful thing that is. Now, I want to share one more thing with you. if I can find it. I don't know why this is so screwed up looking on here. Is that it? No. Okay, one more thing I want us to look at for just a moment. Let's talk about Nibiru for a moment. What do we know about this alleged planet that these alleged Anunnaki are on? What do we really know? We know what's written in the Sumerian text, and no, not just Zachariah Stitchin has translated that. There's a lot of people that want to say he didn't know what he was talking about, blah, blah, blah. But there's actually history and artifacts to prove that the Anunnaki did exist and they were here on planet Earth at one time. Are they to be feared? No, not at all. Are they our progenitors? Perhaps. Perhaps they are. Does that mean that there's not really a God? No, absolutely not. We create things. That didn't make God non-existent because we know how to create things now. So no, I don't think that we should give that another thought because God is very real. The universe, listening to you, all of those laws that are in place are very real and in very perfect working order. You know, the laws of attraction, karma, all of that. It's all very real. And someone had to have wrote those codes for those laws to put them into existence to make them a constant. So we do have a greater creator than perhaps the one that made us, or perhaps not. And I'm not here to tell you what religion to believe in or what story to believe or mythos or any of that kind of stuff. My point here is that we know about this planet that's in our artifacts and our history and our ancient people's writings, more than just in the Sumerian writings. The Maya told about them. Several people told about them. The Hopi. They all knew of the harbinger, of the red kachina, the blue kachina. You know, that says that there's more than one planet type object out there that's going to be coming in our vicinity. There are numerous texts from all across the globe that foretell of this event to come that has multiple planetary objects coming into our inner solar system. That's something we need to think about because they're coming in now at this time where the planet itself it has an uptick in activity of quote unquote natural proportions. And it's coming at a time when the sun is acting in its extremes unexpectedly. It's coming at a time when there is a very real great awakening upon this planet where people are waking up to different truths and learning more about their self and really evolving and growing into really like a whole different kind of a human, honestly, um, which I think is a beautiful thing. I think it's a very good thing. I think it's very necessary. I'm happy to see this time happening. Um, is it going to all be easy? No, but it doesn't have to be hard either. And if you have the tools to know how to do that, we can move through this smoothly. So, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be focusing on giving you those tools, freely giving you those tools through the messages that I present in my videos in various different ways, such as I did in this video, so that you can actually start practicing that with simple things like parting the storm that's coming over your house, or um, I don't know, slowing down a car that's going too fast that you see is going to have a crash. Like, focus your energy on the outcome being a better one, being a different one than the one that you're seeing play out in front of you, because that's the trick. That's the key to changing things, to manifesting things, is to not see the stuff flying by, the debris flying past you in the tornado, in the storm, but to see the tornado or the storm diffuse and not harm and not destroy. That's the key, to stand firm in your faith that you can do this while it plays out in front of you, a different scene. You see? So we're going to be working on that. We're going to be talking about that, because I really do want to give you the tools to be empowered and to be prepared the proper way. So if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I have gotten so many new subscribers lately, and I am incredibly grateful to you for that. If you're not already a subscriber, it's so easy and free to just hit that little button and subscribe. And if you enjoyed my video and my presentation, please hit the like button, because that too helps the algorithms and helps me to get this video out to more people, so that we can all learn about this information and be empowered and be prepared. And I truly hope that all of you have had safe travels and great times with your family for this holiday experience. And I want you to stay safe and stay well and stay blessed in love and light until we meet again.